Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Good to hear.
Thank you.
Well, Volodymyr, Mr. President, thank you for being here. It's good that we have the opportunity to have a short bilat, and of course you will have many meetings today and tomorrow, and a dinner tonight. We have an important summit coming up, including important decisions on Ukraine, which is really building on Washington, the summit last year, where we decided that there is this irreversible path for Ukraine into NATO. And we're building that bridge as we speak. I made yesterday an announcement that European and Canadian allies have now pledged more than 35 billion euros in support for Ukraine, which is more than last year, because last year, for the full year, it was over 50 billion. Now, before the 1st of July, it is already 35 billion. So we can safely assume that for the full year, it will be more than last year. And then, of course, I cannot disclose anything about the summit declaration, but we can be safe to assume that in the summit declaration there will be important language about Ukraine and the support for Ukraine, also financially, going forward. And this is important, because what we have seen over the last couple of weeks is unacceptable. It is Russia starting 3.5 years ago this totally unprovoked war against Ukraine, the full onslaught. They already started in 2014, but the full onslaught starting in February 2022. And now, the last couple of weeks, these indiscriminate attacks on innocent civilians living in cities, living in communities in Ukraine, who go about their daily lives and get killed or seriously wounded because of these Russian drones and whatever. So this is terrible. So everybody is very motivated. Please understand that. I hear from all the allies to keep you strong, to keep you in the fight, and to bring this terrible war to a durable and lasting peace. So again, Volodymyr, thank you for being here, and you are among friends here.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, dear Mark. First of all, thank you for invitation to NATO Summit. I'm happy that to be here, and that summit is in Netherlands, big our friend, and I'm very thankful for your participation and your personal involvement. Yes, and really, I always counted on it and count, and I'm very happy that we are on a constant line, on direct line, bilateral, yes, by phone, yes, always about what we need, urgent needs, like it was when you was a Prime Minister and now when you're a Secretary. I'm happy that we have such relations. And also the decision of Washington Summit, which been last year, very important that this direction is not changing. Thank you so much. Thank you that you mentioned it. About it, we still need air defense, and we still have support on this direction from the partners, and really count on continuation, and also co-production and big military support that you said about it. Thank you so much. 35 plus. So this is very important things, very important signals. I'm thankful for our strong friendship to you and to all allies. Thank you.
So we go there, eh? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The world is changing. Threats are evolving. Security is no longer a given. Protecting the future means acting today. It means strengthening our defense industry fast. We are bridging expertise, innovation, and experience to design, develop, and deliver together as one. Only together can we create a resilient defense ecosystem needed to match NATO's evolving capability demands. That means aggregating demand, unlocking finance and driving long-term investment, and accelerating research and innovation to forge secure, agile supply chains over the Atlantic and with like-minded partners. With breakthrough technologies and innovative solutions, we will detect, prevent, and counter all threats, underwater, on land, and in the skies. At the NATO Summit Defense Industry Forum, we unite, we innovate, we deliver for peace, for freedom, to protect NATO's 1 billion citizens and the generations to come.
Good afternoon. Welcome to a very exciting afternoon session of the NATO Summit Defense Industry Forum. A very special welcome to the President of the European Commission. You will talk to the room later, but we're very pleased to have you here. In these times of geopolitical tensions, this summit focuses on unity, partnership, and shared transatlantic values. We have an ambitious agenda, and this forum is an integral part of that. We also focus on rebalancing Europe's role within NATO. And we focus on innovation, learning the lessons from the brave struggle of Ukraine fighting Russian aggression. And finally, we focus on new partnerships between governments, industries, and ecosystems, including, of course, innovation. And to open this afternoon session, I would like to ask Minister Ruben Brekelmans to join us, the Dutch Minister of Defense. Please give him a warm applause. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, industry leaders, distinguished guests, on behalf of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the plenary session of the NATO Summit Defense Industry Forum. President von der Leyen, your presence here, together also with Secretary General MARK RUTTE and President Zelenskyy, signals our shared determination. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow marks a historic day for NATO, a historic day for our collective security, and a historic day for our defense industry. Within the next 24 hours, we expect all 32 NATO allies to agree on the 5% The Hague Defense Investment Pledge. This week's events in the Middle East have only underscored the growing instability in the world and the urgent need to strengthen our defense and scale up our defense industry. Now is the time to deliver. The 2025 NATO Summit puts the spotlight on world leaders. But NATO's true strength lies beyond these walls, in the armed forces of 32 nations, the men and women who stand ready every day to defend our freedom. But they can only fly, navigate, drive, and fight with the right equipment, weapon systems, and real capabilities. It is real delivery that counts. And that responsibility lies with us, governments and industry. It's our job to move from pledge to product. The Netherlands aims to punch above its weight through our deliveries to Ukraine, through deep cooperation with Germany in our land forces, and also, for example, at Eindhoven Air Base, where we lead one of NATO's most successful multinational projects, the multi-role tanker transport fleet. Today, we proudly welcome Denmark and Sweden to this project, along with 2 new aircraft on order. You may know the Netherlands for our expertise in water and in water management, from New Orleans to Dubai. But now we are taking that expertise to a new frontier, to the bottom of the ocean. That's why we recently launched Sigue, a coalition of 6 nations, leading companies and researchers to protect the critical infrastructure beneath our oceans. Pipelines, cables, offshore platforms, these are lifelines in today's connected world. That same urgency is what we see in today's forum, with key contracts being signed, turning ambition into real capabilities. The key lies in creating new types of partnerships between government and industry. Not the typical buyer and seller's game, but new partnerships built on trust, transparency, long-term vision, and a shared purpose. And that requires new ways of working. As a Minister of Defense, I face the dilemma of, on the one hand, the need for international cooperation, and on the other hand, the pressure to have our national Dutch industry benefit from our increasing defense budgets. Let's be open about these dilemmas and find solutions to overcome these dilemmas. Let's find smart ways of cooperation that are beneficial to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, every time that I visit Ukraine, I'm impressed how Ukrainians are leading the way. When I was in the command center in Kharkiv, I saw the military working together with volunteers and with entrepreneurs. Volunteers were looking at big screens, watching live drone images and analyzing data. Military commanders were guiding the soldiers at the front line. Entrepreneurs were working closely together with them to optimize their drones and their technology. This intense collaboration enabled the troops in Kharkiv to adapt their operations every 3 weeks. And this is the only reason why Russia has not been able to capture Kharkiv yet. And let this be a source of inspiration to us. So I say to each of you, CEOs, ministers, commanders, innovators, let's reach out to each other. We need to create much closer and deeper partnerships to...
Mr. Brekelmans, you emphasized strongly the need for strong partnerships and a whole-of-society approach. Mr. Brekelmans, I invite you to stay with us for a minute, and can I invite Ingrid Thijssen to the stage to hand over the ambition statement, the industry statement, on behalf of various communities of industry. And I would like to now invite the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, to the stage.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome home, Mr. Secretary General.
Absolutely.
And now we have the official handover of the ambition statement.
Yes, and that's exactly what this is. An ambition statement from the North American and European business community.
Yeah.
So it says, in short, that we are, of course, really ready to continue to contribute to the security of NATO. And therefore, I'm really proud to present this to you on behalf of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, Business Europe, the US Chamber of Commerce, and of course, my own Confederation of Netherlands Industry and Employers.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
There you go.
So much. This is huge. Great. Thank you. Now, of course, I will keep this the rest of the day. It's very easy to...
Put it on your bag, man.
Yeah, we can put it... Yeah.
We will make a miniature version of this for you,
Exactly.
so you
That's
can
okay.
carry it with
Shall
you
I
all
put
the
it-
time.
I put it here. That's maybe...
Thank you very much, Ingrid
you.
Thijssen, for handing over this statement. Thank you very much, Minister Brekelmans. Mr. Secretary General, can I invite you to address
I would love
the
to.
forum?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that special moment, Ingrid, and thank you for those inspiring words, Minister Brekelmans, dear Ruben. And thank you to everybody involved in organizing this important forum. At the Dutch Ministries of Defense and Foreign Affairs, the Confederation of Netherlands Industry and Employers, and of course my wonderful colleagues at NATO. And it's also a pleasure, as always, to be here with my good friend Ursula von der Leyen. There is an ancient Roman saying, if you want peace, prepare for war. It's a simple idea. Make your defenses so strong that no one dares to attack you. Today, NATO's military edge is being aggressively challenged by a rapidly rearming Russia, backed by Chinese technology and armed with Iranian and North Korean weapons. We need to unite, innovate and deliver, and that's exactly what this forum is all about. Across the alliance, we have opened hundreds of new production lines and expanded existing ones. We are now on course to produce more ships, more planes and ammunition than we have done in decades. And NATO is using its unique power to drive demand, increase cooperation and enhance innovation. Just moments ago, we brought allies together to sign another set of important multinational projects. This includes establishing NATO innovation ranges to better integrate technology into our armed forces. And another project to secure the supply chain of defense critical raw materials. We also agreed to expand our multinational, multi-role air tanker transport fleet. As you mentioned, Minister Brekelmans, dear Ruben, this is a brilliant example of NATO working together with the European Union to deliver world-class air-to-air refueling, transport and medical evacuation capabilities. When it comes to our partners, I'm delighted that we are also joined by our friends from the Indo-Pacific and Ukraine, the source of so much of today's innovation and cutting-edge capabilities. And I welcome the fact, dear Ursula, that Europe is really stepping up. The Readiness 2030 plan promises to unleash up to 800 billion euros for defense. There's no defense without a strong defense industry. And there's no European security without a strong transatlantic bond. So we need to bring down barriers and encourage truly transatlantic defense cooperation. Only Europe and North America together can rise up and meet the challenge. And of course, this includes working with Ukraine, an industrial and innovation powerhouse. And let me welcome the news out of London yesterday of a massive British investment in Ukraine's defense industry, plugging Ukraine's drone producers directly into the British industrial base. This is all great, but we need to do more, we need to do it better and together, and we need to do it now. It is simply unthinkable that Russia, with an economy 25 times smaller than NATO's, should be able to outproduce and outgun us. We must spend more to prevent war. We must win this new war of production. That's what this summit is all about. Allies have agreed an unprecedented uplift in our capability targets. So we now know exactly what forces, resources and capabilities each ally needs to provide. This will require a quantum leap in our collective defense. But I know that when there is a will, our world-class industries and entrepreneurs will find a way. This will also require bold decisions from our political leaders. And that's what we will do at the summit tomorrow, with an ambitious new defense investment plan to spend 5% of GDP for defense. This will mean a huge defense dividend, an engine of growth for our economies, driving literally millions of jobs on both sides of the Atlantic. NATO's leaders are about to take an historic step to provide the resources necessary for strong defense. And now it's up to industry to deliver, and yes, to deliver. So let's get to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Thank you for emphasizing the urgency of the challenge, but also that we can actually achieve the challenge of transatlantic partnership, the stronger role of the EU, the partnership with Ukraine. Thank you so much. And I would now please warmly welcome Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, to join us on stage for her keynote speech.
Thank you. Secretary General, dear Mark, Minister Brekelmans, thank you, first of all, for bringing us together here in The Hague. Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear representatives of the defense industries, I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
allow the photographers.
No.
Now it is your 1 minute. Yeah. So, and now?
Photo or video?
But you have a whole speech there.
I think,
the lecture is yours.
So I will go?
You will go. And
Mr. President, can I invite you to address the room?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we go off again.
Thank you. That's all. Thank you so much for being here. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you for invitation. Thank you again, Mark. Thank you, Ursula, Minister, and all the participants. And thanks to Netherlands for hosting us. Thank you so much. So, dear friends, thank you all of your attention to Ukraine and to our joint defense capabilities. The key word here is, I think, is joint. We all understand that the source of this war and the long-term threat to the European way of life is Russia. But in reality, we are not just facing Russia alone. We are facing a network of state and non-state actors that are serving the cause of aggression. This network includes Russia, North Korea, the current regime in Iran, Chinese companies, and many schemes across the world that help produce weapons and carry out operations against our country, our people, and our Europe. Only together can we counter this. And the best way to do it is to hit the core of this aggression hard and to break every link that connects Russia with its accomplices. That's why our priorities are clear: our joint defense production and real restrictions on cooperation with Russia through sanctions and other restrictive measures. Thank you to everyone who's helping us with this. Now, the key points for today about defense production. First, investment and technology. Our defense production potential has surpassed $35 billion. This includes nearly 1,000 types of products, from artillery and traditional armed vehicles to advanced drones of, by the way, of all types and missiles. But around 40% of this potential lacks proper funding. Is true. That's a problem. For example, we can produce over 8 million drones of different types each year, but the financing allows for far fewer. At the same time, Russia is using not only its oil revenues for defense, but also the resources of regimes like North Korea and Iran, and Russia's corrupt connections in other countries. So our united solidarity is the best answer to Russia's war network. And we are open to various forms of cooperation in the defense sector, including sharing our expertise and achievements with those who help the most. And we must lead in the drone race, both in strike drones and interceptors, and keep moving forward in producing traditional weapons, taking into account all the lessons learned in this long war. Please increase your investments in Ukraine in joint weapons production. And all the weapons we produce become part of a new, stronger European defense and security system. In this context, we welcome the European initiative, Security Action for Europe, which includes plans to provide up to 150 billion euro to develop the defense industry. And we call for this program to also be actively used as an extra source of support for our shared security. And it's important to keep in mind that Ukraine is an equal partner to this program, meaning that ensuring security is our common cause. Second, long-term resilience of our countries. There are no signs that Putin wants to stop this war. Russia rejects all peace proposals, including those from the United States of America. Putin only thinks about war. That's a fact. Maybe he connects his own political survival with his ability to keep killing. So long as he kills, he lives. And our intelligence confirmed this. Russia is even planning new military operations on NATO territory, meaning your countries, and this war is now on in Ukraine, and it's to get prepared, well, to be ready. No doubt we must stop Putin now and in Ukraine, but we have to understand that his objectives reach beyond Ukraine. European countries need to increase defense spending. We believe that 5% of GDP is the right level. A united Europe can create a defense capability that will destroy Russia's illusion that war with Europe could bring it anything. To kill that illusion faster, we must take away Russia's ability to continue this war against Ukraine with impunity. It's better to hold Russia back where it's already stuck. And I thank every country, and I thank every leader who has already decided to commit part of their national defense spending to supporting Ukraine. If every European country commits at least 0.25% of its GDP for these, and we are thankful to those countries who commit more, like Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and such big commitment like from Germany. It's something quite reasonable. The chances for peace in Europe will grow. Third, please make sure your countries and your companies are not helping Russia or its bodies in any way. This is crucial, really. And there is no significant Russian weapon today that is produced without components, without equipment or materials from other countries, sadly, including some from Europe and NATO. Yes, of course. And this must stop. Such components can be found in every Russian missile, in most of their drones, and in military vehicles. And it's not just China. Also, Taiwan and some of these parts come from the European countries and from the United States, and every single component or machine tool delivered to Russia's defense sector helps prolong the war and is a crime against peace. Every scheme that helps them build Shahed drones or any other tools of killing is not just aiding a war against us, it's a threat to you and to the way of life that millions in our countries value deeply. Please, let's make sure that our defense potential and the potential of our partners works for our peace, not for Russia's madness. Thank you. Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
That's okay. Stay behind. Behind the wall.
So I stay on the there you bring it. Yeah. You bring it.
Secretary General?
Yes.
You are next to the Secretary General. Present.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay. So, good afternoon. It is so good to have this opportunity, Volodymyr, to sit down with the EU leadership and NATO to discuss with you. Again, what we are seeing at this moment is that European and Canadian partners, they are now basically ramping up the support for Ukraine. Already over 35 billion euros pledged this year. That's even before we reach half year on the 1st of July, and last year it was for the full year a little bit over 50 billion. So we can safely assume that the total amount for 2025 will be higher than in 2024. And this shows you that the support for Ukraine is ongoing. Tomorrow we will have a summit with NATO leaders, and I can also safely predict that the support for Ukraine going forward, closely linked to the defense spending of NATO countries, will be there, and will also make sure that, of course, we hope the war will end soon. But if it takes more time, that you have the support in terms of military capabilities, but also when the peace comes or a long-term ceasefire, that you are so strong that Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin will never, ever again try to capture 1 square mile / kilometer of Ukraine. And what we will today is coordinate closely between the EU and NATO to make sure that when it comes to all the practical support, we do the max. So again, thank you for being here, and to the colleagues from the European Commission, the European Council, really an honor to host you all here in this building. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Mark. Again, thank you for your invitation, your leadership, and personal involvement. Thank you very much, dear Ursula, dear Antonio. So, such a great opportunity to be in NATO Summit in Netherlands. And for us, what is the most important, that the unity of NATO countries and all Europe and European Union, and you see this unity around Ukraine. I think this is the most important things. After this, it opens the way to strengthen Ukraine, to give us strong support, to help our people and families who are abroad to live, and to help to our Ukrainians who are in Ukraine to survive. And I'm thankful for your big union and big unity. Thanks for air defense, additional military packages, and thank you that you stay with us, not just stay strong. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mark, for gathering us here today, Ursula and I, with Volodymyr. Russia's invasion of Ukraine remains a major threat for global peace in the world, because this invasion is undermining the international rules-based order, because Russia is an intercontinental country threatening Europe, but also the Pacific region, and because Russia is acting in alliance with countries like North Korea or Iran. Secondly, a just and lasting peace in Ukraine is urgent. And I'm deeply disappointed that Russia is not engaging with the efforts for President Trump to achieve a just and lasting peace. While President Zelenskyy have already agreed on unconditional ceasefire, Russia not only doesn't agree, but even are increasing the intensity of their aggression to Ukraine. From our part, we will continue to give full support to Ukraine and to continue to put pressure on Russia through sanctions. And the 18th package of sanctions is underway. Finally, we are looking forward for our common future as Ukraine, entire member of the European Union. I'm very happy with the recent assessment of the European Commission about your impressive work to deliver on reforms in such difficult situations, and for sure we are reached the conditions to move forward the ongoing negotiation process to accession to the European Union. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I can add, my dear friend Volodymyr, you're here among friends. And we stand by Ukraine from the very first day on, and you can count on us also for the future. We have just discussed how important it is for Ukraine to invest in the extraordinary, agile and innovative Ukrainian defense industry. Therefore, we have designed a funding program of 150 billion euros, we call it SAFE, where member states, but also Ukraine and other partners can take these loans to invest in the Ukraine defense industry, which has shown its ability to innovate, to produce fast and reliably at scale. We can learn a lot from you, what that is concerned, but in this way we can support you also for the survival of Ukraine. Secondly, of course, there's constant financial support to Ukraine because we know you're fighting a war that is also protecting our values and our principles. And thirdly, indeed, we have to put pressure on President Putin that he comes to the negotiation table and that he's engaging seriously in negotiations for a just and lasting peace. Therefore, the 18th sanctions package is a biting one, is a hard one. I know that our G7 friends will follow suit with their sanctions. So all this shows you are among friends. You can count on us. We stand by your side.
Yours.
Okay.
Good?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.